marching, marching in the beauty of the day. A million darkened kitchens, a thousand mill-lots.
I grew up living in Nova Scotia, and so I went through school and I ended up teaching. And after I taught school 1 year, my brothers lived in Ontario. They were working there, and so the bunch of them had come home that summer. So they said, "What are you doing for the summer?" And I said, "I'm just waiting. I'm going back to school in September, teaching." They said, "Well, why don't you come for the summer up? We need a good group of people up in Ontario." So I thought, okay, I'll go. So I went back with them. Met this guy here.
And the rest is history.
So he always talked about he wanted to farm. So after we were up there, I didn't go back teaching. I stayed up in Ontario, and I just got a job in medical records at the hospital. And so we came back, we got married. We were married after a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. And we came back, JP wanted to come home to farm. So we came back to PEI, and he bought a farm. And so we got this sort of history after that. So, but one of the things that I did always love the land, and but I was too busy. We had 6 children, and too busy with the children to have anything to do except making meals and looking after the crew. And so I decided after the children had grown up a bit, I said to JP one day, "You should hire somebody to make the meals for a year. I think I'd like to go out on the tractor." He said, "Okay, we can." So we hired a woman, and she came in and used to go out in the morning at 6 o'clock, and I'd be back home around 9 o'clock in the evening. Take lunch with me. I loved it. And get the land all ready for planting and whatever. And a couple of times I was stopped by a bunch of women on the highway, and they said, "Marie, we want to talk to you for a moment. Why are you doing all this hard work? And let JP do it, and you go back and tell him you're going back to make the meal."
In the house.
Yeah. That's right. And so I said, I started sitting there kind of smiling, and they said, "Don't you believe us? Don't you think that's the right way to go?" So I said, "I'm sitting on my butt here," I said, from 6 o'clock in the morning, listening to the radio, which I hardly ever get the chance to do when I'm home, and just sitting here and seeing people and whatever. And I said, "Come home then in the evening and about 10 o'clock, and then the work's all done in the house. And they're ready for the next day, so, I have a good life." So, anyway,
I think you were the biggest tractor there too, where you did the one with the tracks.
Anyway, it was great. It was a new life for me too, but I enjoyed it, and so that's continued on for a number of years, and then
So you got hurt.
So, and it's all history from that. For me, some of the real hopes and whatever, some of the problems are what we've all talked about around here. But some of the hopes are meeting with people like from different farm organizations or different organizations, having the opportunity to sit down and share with each other how you've overcome this and how you've worked at this. To me, that gives you all kinds of hope that people can do this and we can do it together. And our organization isn't just a small little organization in one community. It's organizations all over the country, and we in the National Farmers Union have the opportunity of sharing with each other at conventions or at meetings in Ontario or out west or all over. So to me, that's one of the biggest hopes that I have. But it's getting to be a real struggle every year. It's harder. It's more difficult to, there's so many different things will come up that this has to happen or that has to happen, or, whatever. And we felt we were doing the best we could all the time we were up until now. But it's, I think the pressure is coming from, well, a lot of the talking with the deep water wells and all this type of thing. And it will, if it ever happens here on PEI, will have a big effect on all the farm people. And so it's a struggle for us all to be more knowledgeable about what's going on and what we can do to change some of the things that are happening. And through working with the National Farmers Union right across Canada, it's been a real asset to us in that you have people all across that's thinking the same way we are and trying to make changes that will benefit not only ourselves and whatever, but families that are coming up, and that we won't lose the right to be farmers in Canada. It's one of the things we've noticed, like on Prince Edward Island here, a lot of the young people, we used to have a lot of young people around, and now they're out west working, trying to survive, and they're back and forth. It's hard on them, but they're able to make better money, but it's a loss to the communities when you don't have the young people here.
So it just made a big difference in the whole community. The fact that we had programs for the youth, they loved it, and they were involved at the local, and then they went to the national programs, to the national conventions. Women and youth could speak their voice and say how they felt about the things that were happening.